Right. Hi guys, this is Katie at Soul Explorer. This is my first YouTube video and I'm really excited to be here, if not a little bit nervous. Maybe I should start by telling you a little bit about me. I've always loved self-discovery ever since I was a kid. Talent, figuring out about people's talents, learning about human personality, learning about how we are as people really, and also spiritual, metaphysical topics, reincarnation. But then many years ago, I found numerology. And I'd only scratched the surface of all these subjects previously. But numerology brought that all together and it became my passion, obsession. Recently, I just thought, why don't I take my passion and my knowledge of numerology to you guys, because I feel it's my life purpose to be a spiritual teacher and to help others find their spiritual path also. But what I always like to do is I always like to start with the big picture. I start with big picture and then I go down to detail. I could start with all the number energies, which I'm going to do in my next few videos after this. But what I wanted to do at first was to give you a big picture of how all these numbers interrelate in your chart. Their position in your chart is really important because it adjusts the influence of the number in your life. And it's not just the number energy that matters, it's whereabouts it is in your chart and how much that number then influences your chart. For example, let's give you a bit of an example. A life path 8 is different from an expression or destiny number 8. They're in a different position in your chart and they're there for a totally different purpose. So they would be expressed differently, even though it's the same energy. Right, what I'll show you first is, okay, so when you look at the numbers as a big picture, your life path with your birthday number tacked on has about 50% influence. And the life path especially is the most important number on your chart. It's the reason why you incarnated on this earth this time. You would have spoke to your spirit guide and said, well, I'd like to learn a bit about a bit about discipline in this life. So you might choose to have 5 in your numbers. But to have 5 as a life path, you might want to choose a number as your expression number that supports that number. Anyway, I won't go into too much detail about that now, but it's all part of the pattern of your numbers in numerology. So life path is your most important. It's the reason why you incarnated. It's the contract you wrote with your spirit guide when you came into this lifetime. The birthday number is like a little sub-lesson that should help the life path along and work together. And I would say the birthday number has about a 10, maybe 20% influence on the life path. But the life path is always your central focus. And both the life path and birthday number together make up about 50% influence. Your expression, or some people call it destiny number, or your known name number, because they tend to be different. The name on my birth certificate includes my middle name, but my known name, I might be known by a shortening, and I might be known as just my first and last name, so that would be a slightly different energy. But the expression number is the most important. It's the second most important number on your chart, because it's the talents you chose to bring with you to support your life path in this incarnation. So I think that's all I'll say for now on that. And the known name number just adds a little bit of extra energy, but the most important number there is your expression. That's the number that's part of your contract. Before you incarnated on this earth, you would have told your parents telepathically, I don't care what you call me, but make sure it vibrates at the 5. And they would have called you a name that vibrates at that number. Your soul urge number is the 3rd most important number in your chart, and that's a passion number, and it's about your motivation, what really burns in your heart, what really makes your heart flutter, what what would you really like to do? What is your utmost passion? Right, but I'm not going to group the numbers as their importance. Okay, so we know that the life path, expression, soul urge, and your birthday number are the most important. I'm going to group them slightly differently, depending on their influence and how they relate to each other on your chart. So the lesson numbers, the most important is your life path number. Birthday number tacks on to that lesson number, and the maturity number is another sub-lesson number, but it's only introduced later on in your life. So for me, it sort of started hitting around about my 40s, but everyone's different. Some people start feeling their maturity number at 35, some people in their 50s, but that number will come into your life a little bit more in that time of your life. The numbers that I call the talent and motivation numbers are your expression, or some people call your destiny number, your gnome name number, and your soul urge number. Okay, so moving on. Get my computer to do what you want. Right, so I've done that one. So these are the lesson numbers. Right, this is where I should be. So again, life path is the most important number. It's your evolution for this incarnation. And I'm going to tell you in a minute how to calculate that. But just a little note here about the master numbers, but I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. Birthday number again being a sub-lesson. But what's most important, I think, about this is it's important to always consider your last two numbers on your life path. But I don't want to confuse you all. Let's get straight to the calculations. Right. So it's really important to work out each element of your date of birth separately. Don't just add them all across. You've got to add each element up and reduce it down before you add it all together. For example, birthday number 25th of July 1976 is worked out as follows. So for the day, the 25th, that'll be 2 and 5 plus equals the 7. July is a 7 month, so we put another 7. And all the elements of the year added together, 1 plus 9 plus 7 plus 6 equals 23, reduced down to a 5. We then take these three numbers here, the 7, and the 5, add them together, and it gives us, more often than not, a 2-digit number that we then reduce down to 1. But we mustn't discard this number. So even though the 1 and the 9 added together equals a 1, we still need to make sure that those sub-lessons that I'll tell you about in another video are included. Because it's not enough. It really isn't enough that you're a 1 life path. What type of life path 1 are you? Are you a 191? You could be a 281, a 371, a 461. Yeah, there's so many ways that you can be a 1. A 101 is a 1 at an even higher intensity. So it's important. Those two numbers before are important. So always mark down your life path number as follows. What I'm also going to give you an example of, though, is the master energies. We mustn't forget that. So it's important to work out each element separately, as we did before. Add all the figures together as before, but we must always remember if we get an 11, a 22 or a 33, we leave them as they are until they're added together at the end. But in this case, May 3rd, with a 3 year, 3 plus 5 plus 3 equals 11 life path, which makes it a master life path. Okay, shown here as a 1-1 life path 2. More emphasis is put on these numbers here when they're a master vibration, the 1-1, the 2-2, or the 3-3. Now, this doesn't mean you're a master by any stretch. It means that you're here to do a lot more than us single-numbered people. You're here to master the energy of that number, like master the energy of the 1 if you're an 11 or a 2. That is quite a big thing to do, and it's not an easy thing to have. So remember, it's mastering the master energy, and it doesn't really make you a master. But what it does mean is that you're quite an old soul. So you wouldn't be working really with the master vibrations if you weren't an old soul and you weren't ready. Whatever life path you have, you wouldn't have that path if you weren't totally okay to achieve that. You might have some struggles along your way, you know, because your life path is not a talent. It's a potential. It's something to achieve by the end of your life. Okay, so before I keep gabbling on, let's move on. So, birthday number, not as important as your life path, but it is an element that should be included as it's the 4th most important number in your chart. For the birthday number, it's exactly what it says on the tin. When on your birthday, all you need is this number here, the 29th. So for the birthday, the 29th of October, 75. For the birthday number, you're just focusing on the 2 and the 9. Now we're going to add them together like you usually would. I add the 2 and 9 together, and that came down to an 11. Now, if that wasn't an 11 or a 22 or a 33, I would reduce that down to a single digit. But this shows that because this is a master, this is an 11, it stays as it is. We don't reduce it down. So my birthday number, because that's my date of birth, by the way, is 2911. Okay, another example, 24th of October, you just focus on the 2 and the 4. This person has a 246 birthday number, okay? But remember, this is the 4th most important number, and it just tags on to the end of your life path. It's like, that's the big man, and he's just like the birthday number's like the little sidekick, if you were, just to help and serve the life path number as much as possible. Right, now, maturity number. Now, for some of you younger listeners, this might not be anything that you'd really take into account quite yet. But for people like me who are advancing in age, the maturity number does make a difference. And I have felt it within the last few years take effect, hence me doing these videos. So your maturity number is like another sub-lesson introduced for any age between sort of 35 up to your 50s. You know, everyone's different when they start feeling it. And it's calculated by adding your life path and your expression number together. For example, a life path 7 with an expression number 5 adds together to make your maturity number. 7 plus 5 is 12. Excuse me, add them together again, maturity number 3. So a person with this maturity number might find that past their mid-30s or in their 40s, they might start feeling a few different, lessons, goals, achievements coming into their life relating to their maturity number. So it's good to keep an eye on that. But, you know, if you're a young spring chicken, you don't need to really think about that yet. Right, so what I did before with the lesson numbers. So I summarised there, the lesson numbers, the most important is your life path. That is your big lesson. That's the reason you're here. The birthday number tags on to that and gives you sort of a little extra element for you to achieve in your life path. And more often than not, the birthday number will, and if used right, help your life path in some way, as all the numbers should. So what we're moving on to now is the talents you brought with you when you said, okay, I want to be more a bit spiritual. So I'll be a 7 life path number. But what talents would I need to bring forward for me to do that? Maybe it would be good if I was good at public speaking, or, you know, whatever skills you need, you would want to choose that number as your name vibration. So your expression number is your full birth name on your certificate. First name, middle name, last name, okay? That's the most important number. It's a number that you decided with your spirit guide that you were going to bring with you in this lifetime. Now, your known name number is you know what it says on the tin, everyone changes their name. Well, not everyone, but you know, people change their name by marriage. And most people don't use their middle name when they introduce themselves to someone. Another person might be Robert to his mum. He might be Bob to his friends. When he introduces himself, he might say, "Hello, I'm Robert Smith." Again, that's a different vibration. And it's worth taking note of these different vibrations and how they change the vibration of the situation. Now, your soul urge number, I love this number. This is the number of your passion. This is what you've always wanted. It's what gives you that fuzzy feeling in your tummy. And I've definitely noticed with my soul urge, it matches very well. It's calculated by the vowels in your full birth name. Okay, so you would take the vowels of your full birth name and add them together to get your soul urge number. But don't worry, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in this video. Okay. Moving on. Right, so calculating your expression number. So the lesson numbers, apart from maturity number, actually are done with your date of birth. But your expression number, and your known name number, and your soul urge number are calculated using your name. So if you want to have a look on the screen here, the energy of the 1 supports the A, the J, and the S. BKT is 2, all the way down to 6. I like this one, FOX, Foxy 6. That helps me remember that one. So if I was to look at the name, say Joe Robert Smith, and that would be the name on his birth certificate. I would say J is the energy of a 1, if you look on the chart here. O is the energy of the 6, and the E is the energy of the 5. And I do that for each name separately and take them down to a single digit or a master number. Must not add them all up together in one row. It will not give you the correct number at all. You will find that it tells you you're a different type of 6 to what you actually are, and it can confuse you totally. So this person, their name on their birth certificate is Joe, which comes to a 3. Robert, their middle name, however, adds up to 33, but I didn't reduce that because it is a master number. And Smith, adding all the numbers together, if you pause this and take a look at the charts, you will see, as long as my adding is okay, that this adds up to a 6. So adding the 3, the 33 and the 6 together comes to 42. Now, feel free to tell me if my adding is wrong here, guys. The 4 and the 2 makes a life path, or expression or talent number 6. Okay, with your little sub-talents here. I won't go into too much detail on them. That's another video. Right, so do that with your own name. Maybe pause this video and work out what is your my full birth name number. It might illuminate a few things for you. Okay, going the wrong way. So known name number, do exactly the same thing. So Joe Smith from the other one might name himself, "Hi, I'm Joe Smith." So he might add up those two numbers, Joe being 3 and Smith being a 6. So his known name number vibrates at the 9. So that's less important than the expression number, but it certainly adds a little bit of flavour to the energy, and it will assert itself at times. So it's good to keep an eye on that. Your expression and your known name number being your talent numbers, the expression more so though. Moving on. Okay, soul urge number, the one I love. Again, if we use the same name, Joe Robert Smith. Joe, again, we would only take, of course, I didn't put the chart on this page, but you have to trust me when I say that the O vibrates at the 6, and you can check this on the chart, and the E is the only 2 vowels in Joe, is a 5. So we add that 6 and 5, and that comes to an 11, which is a master number that we don't reduce. And then you've got Robert. So we would only add in the 0 and the E. So we've got a 6 for the 0 and a 5 for the E. Adding those together, it's another master number 11. And Smith, there's just one vowel in Smith, so that's 9. Adding those together, 22, if I've added it up right, should be 31, giving that person a soul urge number of 31-4. The 4 being the most important number, as it is, that number on the right is always the most important number. Okay, so all these numbers then, it depends where they are in your chart, which totally depends how they are expressed in your life. So what I'm going to do over the next few weeks is I'm going to start doing videos about the life path numbers and the sub-lessons as well before that. I really hope you've liked this video. This is my first ever video, so feel free to criticize. I will make changes as necessary, or if there's any errors in my calculations. It does happen at times. So take a look at my website, soulexplorer.net. Please feel free to go onto my webpage and follow me on Instagram. I will be posting, and I do post on there every day. But most importantly, because this is a new thing to me, subscribe to my channel and, you know, press that little bell that alerts you of new videos, because I've got new videos coming up and I can't wait to start, you know, doing more videos and being a little bit more confident about it. So anyway, I hope my explanation was okay today. I can answer any questions you may have about the position of the numbers. Maybe think of it like a tree. Life path is your king with a little sidekick birthday number. That life path is supported by your expression number and your soul urge number and your known name number. And they all work together to help achieve that life path. And in subsequent videos, I'll explain a little bit more about that and all the number energies as well. And again, I'll stop gabbling and hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and definitely please subscribe to my channel and share with other people. Thank you.